Good morning, everyone. This is episode 12 of the Off Topical Podcast. My name's Gardiner.
And I'm Raven.
And did security researchers just discover a SPECTRE-style attack for the GPU? Plus, Electronic Arts announces Command and Concquer Remastered, developed by former Westwood employees. And Valve ends production of the Steam Link. What do they have planned to follow up? And before we get to the good stuff, I just wanted to make a quick announcement before we get on with the show. We're happy to tell you guys about forum.heavyelement.io. It's the new home of everything related to my YouTube channel. Raven, what do you think about the forums?
Oh, you know I love the forums, man. Absolutely love having a forum again as well.
It's super cool. We have all kinds of people over there from all walks of life talking about everything. Linux, video games, all the things that matter, as you well know. If you head over to forum.heavyelement.io, you can sign up with your own account and join in the conversation. Starting yesterday, as of the release of this podcast, you can actually help us create the show notes, submit stories to the thread, and we'll go in and we'll pick the stories we think are most interesting, most relevant to the podcast, and we'll give you credit too if you decide to submit a story. Also, you can just talk to us, and it's fun. Why not? Forum.heavyelement.io. Okay, so the first story today, Electronic Arts announces Petroglyph is remastering Command and Conquer and Command and Conquer Red Alert. What do you think about this, Raven?
I love it because, as you know, I'm a huge Command and Conquer fan.
Me too, my friend.
However, it's never coming to Linux, so I'm also depressed.
Yeah.
Which is such a shame. I find it very interesting that they were like big on the OpenRA website. You know, honestly, they probably saw all the people playing OpenRA and were like, why are we not getting this money?
What money?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did make the old Command and Conquer's freeware, and they are still freeware. You can also still buy them in that, you know, that big Command and Conquer pack, which includes like all the Command and Conquers. I have it.
Yeah.
But what worries me is like, because, you know, what's a remaster? You know, define
Right.
remaster. You know, sometimes they're just like a widescreen patch. If it's just a widescreen patch, that's going to annoy me.
This is what I'm thinking. This is where my brain goes. So what you were talking about just a little bit ago is that a guy named Jim Vasella, he's a producer at Electronic Arts, actually posted a special announcement on the OpenRA website. And what he said was, among other things, he said, following the reveal of Rivals, which is like the mobile game they just came out with, we heard you loud and clear. The Command and Conquer community also wants to see the franchise return to PC. And as a fan of CNC for over 20 years, I couldn't agree more. With that in mind, we've been exploring some exciting ideas regarding remastering the PC games and already have the ball rolling on our first effort to celebrate the upcoming 25th anniversary. So here's my thought. What if, I mean, they already know OpenRA exists, right? What if they decide to use the OpenRA engine? And
that could be very likely.
That could be super freaking cool. Outside the video game industry, most other tech companies use open source software. Most other tech companies contribute to open source software. OpenRA is the perfect candidate for a company like Petroglyph to use as a base to create new assets, to expand upon, and to create, to just make an awesome remastering of Command and Conquer the way the original devs intended the game to play. I think it would be cool if they used OpenRA as a base. What do you think, man?
Oh, absolutely. Because, you know, for starters, it would kind of force them in. Because what kind of bothers me is like, you know, I don't want to see a remaster and see it go 3D. Like, I don't actually want to see that.
Right.
Because we already know what they did with all the 3D versions of Command and Conquer, and no, I don't need to see that.
I agree.
Um, but I hope that, they do redo it. And, using OpenRA would also be nice because, it has Lua scripting. It makes it very fast for, adding stuff. And also, too, they can even use the OpenRA itself as a base because I'm sure you remember the original Command and Conquer. It was not very well balanced at all in the slightest.
No.
It was fun, but it wasn't really that balanced. And OpenRA has tried to make it more balanced. And you do see that. It is a lot more balanced. Like, the V2 rockets, for example, and the artillery, the big difference between the Allies and the Axis right there. They changed them both a little bit and have made that a little more fair. Because V2 rockets used to be brutal.
They were OP.
They're still brutal,
OP.
don't get me wrong. But, now the artillery is a little nicer. I mean, artillery just demolishes tanks now. So it's pretty sweet.
All right. So I hear what you're saying. And I don't know if you know this, but the new versions of OpenRA, I'm not sure how many versions back this goes, but they now support playback of the original video files before the missions. So that kind of stuff, right? That actually makes me think, what if they are going to like go back into the archives of Westwood and like get the original source footage and like up-res that?
Well, they should be able to because I doubt that stuff was shot digitally.
Oh, yeah, no.
So, if you have the rolls still somewhere, you should be able to get it up to a somewhat higher quality than the really low-res old ones anyway.
Yeah.
And plus, too, these days, I guarantee you somewhere out there is some artificial AI platform that you can feed a video and it just makes it, high-res. Kind of like what's that one website that I use? Let's Enhance? Have you ever used Let's Enhance? I know it's like a slight tangent there, but I used it for the that Ubuntu wallpaper.
Oh, really?
And you saw the quality of that.
Yeah.
It just rebuilds it using the base. I don't know if anything like that exists for video, and I doubt EA would do that, but, the techie in me is like, I wonder if that exists.
That would be interesting.
It would, but most likely, like you said, they're going to have to find and remaster the footage.
That or reshoot it.
But the thing is, if they reshoot it, they won't have the same actors.
Right.
And it'll lose the feel, so I think remastering it will be pretty much all they can do. But that's fine. That's actually fair enough. I hope, anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I'm just kind of sad that it's probably won't come to Linux. But if they do use OpenRA, maybe we'll get a Linux version.
I would really. That's kind of where my thinking was on that. But yeah, I mean, as long as Joseph Kukin is playing Kane, I don't care who else plays whatever characters. Joe Kukin is like the best, and he is Kane, and nobody else can ever play Kane.
Absolutely.
Oh, but do you think this means that they're going to end up buying Petroglyph in a few years?
I doubt it.
Petroglyph doesn't have a lot of IP, as far as I know.
And their games don't sell, they sell well enough to keep Petroglyph open. They use Unity a lot these days. They did write their own engine, like Grey Goo, which was a fairly decent RTS, by the way. Grey Goo used a custom engine, and then they just started using Unity. They're the people that made, like, the 8-Bit Army and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
If you've ever played it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Those are not bad games. Or at least, if I remember correctly, they are the people that made 8-Bit Army. I'm actually going to look that up just to make sure.
I'm looking. Yeah, they had 8-Bit Armies, 8-Bit Hordes, 8-Bit Invaders.
Yeah.
Star Wars Empire at War, which was fantastic. I don't know if you ever played that, but that was freaking awesome. That was my first experience. Oh, I guess that was their first release. Panzer General, Guardians of Graxia, Mythion, Rise of Immortals, Grey Goo. Yeah. Command and Conquer remasters are at the end of the list there. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, most of their newer stuff, I guess, is to me it I don't know, like when they made the 8-Bit Armies, I think 8-Bit Armies came out first. and then they started like just pumping out like 8-bit hordes and 8-bit invaders, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed kind of like cash, just making something just to cash in on it. I don't know. But I mean, like I say, it's fine. It's all good. I do like Grey Goo, though. I know a lot of people don't like Grey Goo, or rather, it has very mixed feelings about it. But I actually really liked Grey Goo.
I don't think I've played Grey Goo, but
Really?
yeah.
Oh, dude.
Is it for Linux?
No. No, they don't make anything for Linux. Oh, they also made Forged Battalion, which is like a new game, which is it's okay. It's another Unity title where they use like really simplistic art, but it kind of borrows a little bit from Warzone 2100. So, you kind of like quote unquote build your own units.
Yeah.
So like before you go into battle or even start a battle, you have like this little tech tree, and like you unlock stuff in the tech tree, and then like you go make your units, and then you have like at the barracks you can only have 4 units. So you make like 4 custom units, and those are only the units that you can build from that barracks. So it is interesting. So like you kind of have to like, you have to try to make yourself have like a good mix. I usually just get like the anti-tank rifle, because that thing just kind of like, at least on the infantry, it just kind of knocks down stuff, at least early on. But I'm on Steam right now, and it has mostly negative reviews. So they must have done something that made people cranky.
Yeah. Speaking of cranky people.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, you sent me this video and I just had to shake my head. You've heard of gamer rage out there, everybody. Everybody's heard of gamer rage, right? An angry Fallout fan went into GameStop and tried to get a full refund of Fallout 76. And unfortunately, GameStop's policies prevented that from happening. So what did he do? Like any rational person, he destroyed the GameStop. What do you think about this, man?
I saw that video, and my first thought was, why? Because, some people were saying, oh, I bet this is like a prank. And I'm like, no, there's no way GameStop corporate would allow someone to go in and trash a store like that, especially with like customers just coming in. No, that wasn't a prank. That was just someone having a roid rage moment and just knocking over stuff. I mean, really, he probably didn't damage anything, really. I mean, it's just stacks of crappy little shelves. Like, he might have broken some shelves and cracked a few cases, but other than that, he really didn't damage anything. They're just, the guy making minimum wage or slightly above minimum wage is going to have to pick all that up again now.
Yeah. It looked like he basically what he did was he tipped over like 3 shelves. One of them maybe had like games and cases on it, but the rest of them I think were just like gift cards or something. But yeah, he knocked over the whole thing, and the guy behind the counter, I think his name was Bryant. The phone rings just as the guy leaves.
That was great.
And the phone rings, and he picks up the receiver. And he's like, "Thank you for calling GameStop. My name's Brian. How can I help you?" Like, after the store is just a mess. I thought that was so professional, dude. So professional.
He's just like, dude, I don't care. I don't make next to anything anyway. I don't just destroy it. I don't give a crap.
Right.
And the thing that gets me is like, in a way, his rage at GameStop, in my opinion, is understandable. I don't condone it, by the way.
Right.
That don't go into a store and act like a total ass and destroy it just because you don't get your way. That's just stupid. But GameStop is so scummy. Like, so scummy. Like, you'll go in there. I went in there to, like, trade in some games one time, and they offered me, like, $0.25 for a game that they were, like, going to... they had it on the shelves for, like, $20.
Yeah.
And they were only going to give me $0.25. And I was like, that's a huge profit margin. I forgot what game it was.
Huge profit
margin. It was for the original Xbox. So we're talking, like, before the 360 came out.
When I had a 360, my brother went and pawned some of my games. And he ended up getting like $3.40, and he turned in like 10 games or something. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, I don't give them any of my stuff. I don't shop there. Let's just put it that way. I mean, one, I don't play console games really,
Right.
and if I do play console games, I just buy them on the PlayStation Store. So, you know, because I don't really care too much. You know, some people are like, well, you know, you get the physical. It's like it doesn't matter anymore because you still need to connect online usually for a lot of games now. So it's like, who cares?
I just like having the physical thing.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I really do. But if I have to buy like a physical, because I do have a couple, like I have stacks of PlayStation 4 games. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have quite a few. Well, not stacks, but I have maybe like 20, which really compared to some people is probably not that many. And most of those came from my dad. But I got them at Walmart.
Yeah.
You know, Walmart's pretty good. Like if he had done that at Walmart, they would have just given him his money back.
Probably, yeah.
But so like I don't know like the whole story there because GameStop does have a policy where they do give you a full refund. So, you know, they probably should have given him a full refund. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Like they gave him store credit. Like, dude, you've already spent $60. Just get another game that you like.
Yeah.
Get Battlefield 5.
I'm pretty sure that like when you open the game, if it's a new game, you don't get full credit back, no matter what. Not even store credit.
Yeah, which is such an odd policy, but I guess because they can't put it back on. I mean, they're going to put it back on the shelf anyway for $55.
There are some games that have like a single use key that comes with it, you know.
Yeah.
So they can't like, you know, since like one or two game developers are like really scummy like that, they can't have that policy for anything. Maybe that's the reasoning. I don't know.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I thought this was a kind of a funny and kind of pathetic thing I wanted to talk about today. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think there's any time where this kind of behavior is acceptable or no? I mean, this seems totally baloney. Let us know. You can check out the show notes over at forum.heavyelement.io. You can send us an email, show@offtopical.net, or hit us up on Twitter. All right, Valve ends production of the Steam Link. So I'll just go ahead and read the rather short announcement that was on the Steam community page here. Let's go here. So this was posted November 19th, and the title is Steam Link Hardware Almost Gone. And it reads, The story of physical Steam Link. The supply of physical Steam Link hardware devices is sold out in Europe and almost sold out in the US. Moving forward, Valve intends to continue to support the existing Steam Link hardware as well as distribution on the software version of Steam Link, available for many leading smartphones, tablets, and televisions. Click here to find out more about the Steam Link app. So Steam Link is now becoming a software-only experience. What do you think about that?
You know, honestly, it's probably a smart move.
Yeah, it really
because
makes
what else?
sense.
What else can you do with Steam Link anyway besides play Steam?
Right. Could you? Did they have Netflix or anything for it?
Nope, not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't quite understand.
And you think about it, you know, smart televisions are already starting to have it. Tablets have it. Smartphones, they'll probably make an Android. Sorry, not Android. Amazon Fire version. They'll probably make like a Roku version. You know, because really all they need is a driver for the controller and a way to hook it up in there or connect to it with like Bluetooth or something like that. And
can you use the Steam controller on like a Roku?
I don't know. They might have to like bundle like a driver with it. I don't know. I'm sure like Roku would like put out a patch or something. Same thing for Amazon. Like I'm sure if Valve was like, "Hey Amazon, we'd like to put our game thing on your thing," they would be like, "Okay, what do you need?" You know, I don't foresee them going, "No, don't put that on there." Like, you know, I don't really see that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that if they wanted to put it on there, it might already be on there. I don't know. I don't use the whole streaming thing because I like my computer. You know, I don't. But lots of people do. And it just seems like a smart choice because who's going to buy it anyway? Right. I mean, you're really going to switch like your television around all the time from like your Amazon TV or whatever? You know, don't get me wrong. It made sense at the time, but I just don't think it makes sense anymore.
Right. I'm trying to see if my Roku supports it.
It probably doesn't, but I don't see any reason why, if they wanted to, you know, they could probably get Roku to, you know, put out a patch with the drivers and stuff if they needed it.
Yeah. I would really like to see stuff like this be expanded, you know, so that Roku's or smart TVs or, you know, any of the existing boxes that you have plugged into your TV can use it. Dedicated hardware in 2018 for something like this doesn't make sense, in my opinion.
No, unfortunately, no. And you know, Sony, by the way, for the PS4 has a similar software where you can stream like from your PS4 to your computer, for example, and your smartphone and all this other stuff. It's actually very neat.
Yeah, don't they have like second screen or something like that, and you can stream it to your phone?
Yeah,
yeah. I haven't used that on my PlayStation, but
it's kind of like it's kind of like how they, for a while, like, you know, remember when the PlayStation 4 first came out and they were like, and like you can like go on the go with your PlayStation Vita. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I've tried that before. It actually works.
You know, on the PlayStation, on the PS3 and the PSP, they had remote play. And
yeah.
You could play, like, I remember I played with my cousin, what's that tower defense game? Pixel Junk Monsters. We played that together.
Oh, I love Pixel Junk Monsters.
Dude, that was such a fun game. And it's on Linux now, too. But yeah, we played that with remote play. And it was so awesome. I remember being like, this is the future. And now the industry's trying to make it the future.
You know, we need to play Pixel Junk Monsters.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I think it's co-op still.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it?
It definitely is. Yeah, Pixel Junk Monsters. Good game if you haven't played it. But yeah, so like, do you think that this is going to have like, do you think this is like an indicator of like where Valve is moving in hardware? Because I know that we know that they're working on hardware. Like they're hiring hardware engineers all the time. So what do you think this means going forward for them in the hardware realm?
Honestly, I think they're just freeing up resources.
Yeah.
I mean, because this stuff's sitting in a warehouse somewhere that they're paying money for. And honestly, they're probably losing money just sitting there. I mean, it's $2.50 right now. I'm tempted to buy one because it's $2.50.
It's $2.50?
Yeah.
Where?
It's on Steam.
Oh my God. I'm going to buy one.
Yeah, here you go. Hang on. I will link you, sir. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, it's $2.50. It's like, okay. I mean...
What? That is unreal, dude. What? I can't believe that. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's very, very, very cheap.
Is there any way to jailbreak it? Because if there's a way to jailbreak it, I'm going to...
I don't think so. I don't think anyone's ever really tried that because all it really does is connect to Steam. So, you know, it really doesn't have a whole lot of functionality for, you know, anything else. But it has a great, you know, Wi-Fi card and stuff and all in it.
Nice.
It was designed for what it you know, what it does. So it doesn't have anything it doesn't need, I suppose.
Right.
But yeah, they're doing away with it. But as far as what it indicates, I think it just indicates freeing up resources. Valve is either A, working on a computer or a gaming console. Honestly, the gaming console makes the most sense.
Yeah, it really does.
You know, like, we're talking like a very streamlined gaming console where like the main API is Vulkan and it's powered by Linux.
Yeah.
I definitely foresee that. Like that, honestly, when they made Proton, my first thought is they're probably going to be making a console soon.
That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. The fact that they've invested so much time into SteamOS, which like much of the game journalism industry wrote off as dead, you know, that's a clear sign that they're still working towards Steam machines, if not their own Steam console. And I've always said like that a first party Steam machine is really the only way to go.
Yeah, and it needs to be it needs to be like very powerful. And if you think about it, if you're buying like the same set of hardware in mass bulk,
Yeah.
you can get that stuff pretty cheap.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And also too, if you think about it from another perspective, let's just say that, Valve is like, okay, we're going to charge $1,000 for our Steam console. It's probably going to be a lot beefier than, most other things on the market. But if they make it upgradable too, that would also be nice. I don't really know where they're going to go with it. But anyway, let's just assume that because they probably might not even, they might go like full console and make like a specific, like, everything's on the board type ordeal.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that that's the way that they should go. Because it needs to be a standard, stable target that game developers can target. Like, if it's not that, then there's like, and it will just end up failing, I think. Because then you're going to have like experiences that are targeted at like the lowest common denominator, and people who have like the higher end machines, and it's going to also, it would cause like a huge amount of confusion, like the original Steam machines endeavor did, like huge confusion.
Yeah.
So I think that if Valve wants to be successful, they need to target the console gaming market and produce a single platform for game developers to target. And you can, allow people like us to build our own Steam machines, but like you have to have like that common factor in order to make it successful.
Yeah. The only other thing that I could say that they could potentially be working on is a VR or AR headset.
I think
that's the only other thing I could say for hardware wise.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I think I've said this before on the podcast. I think they're working on a fully like VR, like computer system. Like, it's going to be a backpack that you wear. It'll be battery powered, and you have your headset will be plugged into the backpack, and that backpack is your gaming PC. I think that's something they are probably doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to agree with you on that one.
Tetherless. I mean, dude, like you would be tetherless, and you'd be able to play in a big space.
Oh yeah, no, I get your thing. I don't know if I foresee that one. But Valve is someone who would try something just to try it. So
yeah,
there is that.
I'd like to see them do both because a gaming console from Valve would be awesome, and also B, I don't like being wrong.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, because like I'm looking at their website right now, and they just show like hardware being built.
Yeah,
and it's all their stuff. I don't know. Like you're right. Like what it could be is a combination of the two. Like they could be working on a game console that has like comes with a virtual reality headset.
Ooh,
like it'll come with the Steam controller, but it'll also come with a virtual reality headset as like this is so it comes with the computer plus that. I could see that.
Yeah.
Because the problem with Valve is their development philosophy, where they just kind of let their employees do whatever, makes them highly unpredictable.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. I mean, for all we know, they're making like a Steam Link 2 or something. I mean, I doubt that. I seriously doubt that. It's just they're too hard to guess, and they're very good at keeping secrets. So, yeah, I don't know. I would personally, I would like to see them make their own gaming console. That's what they really need, and it needs to be on SteamOS or something. Because I mean, I don't know. Like SteamOS really doesn't use that much RAM either. By the way,
right?
I don't know if you've ever benchmarked it, because like the newer gaming consoles actually use a fair bit of RAM just to run the OS. And in the PlayStation 4's case, that's probably due to the fact that the entire interface is a web page.
The PlayStation web interface sucks.
It's better than the Xbox interface.
I haven't used the Xbox One, so I don't know. But the PS3, You go to open up like the
Oh, I'll talk about the PS4.
no, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
You
because
gotta-
I actually like the PS3's interface.
The PS3 is all right, but
It
the
just worked.
PlayStation 4, you go to open up like Netflix or you know, YouTube or something, and it's like it takes like almost 20 seconds for that little like launcher app to open up and to be like stable enough to actually move the selection over to YouTube and then hit X to select it. It's like it sucks. Anyway, we're getting off topic here on the Off Topic podcast.
I know, right? It's kind of why we made that. Well, I mean, you know, the PS4's interface is just a big ass WebGL app. So I mean, there you go. I remember when it came out and they were like super proud of it. One of the people was like really proud of it. I was like, really?
Ugh.
I don't know if I'd be proud of that.
Yeah, that's dumb. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you have a thought on the Valve's ending of the Steam Link production, or do you have an opinion on the PlayStation 4's interface? Let us know. The show notes are available over on forum.heavyelement.io, or you can find another way to reach us through email, show@offtopical.net, or on Twitter. Thunderbird is hiring multiple engineers. Now, this isn't really a news story per se, but if you're looking for a job and you're listening to this podcast, I just wanted to let you know, in case, you know, there was anything...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's Thunderbird, man. I mean,
yeah,
you know.
if you need a job, check out their website. There's a link in the show notes. forum.heavyelement.io. All right, so I'm gonna need you to fill me in on this one. This is pretty technical. Is this the Spectre of GPU?
I haven't fully read this paper. Honestly, I've been meaning to but yes, essentially, yes, it is. It is Spectre for the GPU. Some research from the University of California have put out a paper, and a link to it is in the show notes. Because we're not going to cover, you know, this entire thing because this would probably turn into a 2-hour podcast here.
Right.
But essentially, yes, they were able to do a Spectre attack on a NVIDIA graphics card.
Now, is this like the kind of thing where, you know, you're doing Bitcoin mining and they can steal your Bitcoins, or like, how does this work?
Again, the downside of not reading the paper, I'm not entirely sure. But from my understanding, you can pretty much do, once it's kind of like, it's exactly like the CPU one. Like once you're in, you're in. Not really that great. I don't actually know how easy it is to actually get in, because, you know, Spectre wasn't actually that easy. I mean, yes, you know, Spectre was a huge flaw, and, you know, everyone panicked for rightful reason, but it wasn't the easiest thing to, you know, implement.
Right.
And this is even harder, from what I've, well, you know, from what I've heard. It's a little bit harder, but the fact that it exists is a problem in of itself. And the other thing is, they have not tested this on AMD or Intel. Now, before you get too excited and say, AMD rules, it's probably also possible on AMD.
Right.
Honestly, because of the way modern hardware works, I would not be surprised. Maybe not the exact same method, but probably something similar. You know, another thing too is, when I saw this, when it came up in my feed, I was like, you know, every day crap like this keeps happening, and it just makes me realize that my DOS machine is the most amazing thing on the planet, because this kind of garbage doesn't happen on it. I know, you're probably like sitting there cringing, like, him and that damn DOS machine again that he never shuts up about. But it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it has its own issues, but I can just unhook it from the internet and it'll just...
There's always the physical attack.
No.
All right.
Not my machine.
So, attack scenarios here in the document. This is interesting stuff. So, we consider 3 primary attack vectors. In all 3 cases, a malicious program with normal user-level permissions whose goal is to spy on a victim program. So the first one is attacks from a graphics spy on a graphics workload. Since desktop or laptop machines by default come with graphics libraries and drivers installed, the attack can be implemented easily using graphics API calls such as OpenGL, measuring leakage of co-located graphics applications such as a web browser to infer sensitive information. That is terrifying. So like you go in your, you run this malicious program unwittingly, and it can basically screen capture you while you're typing in your credit card information. That's what
yeah, it's not. It's like you said, it's pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
And
Damn.
see, I haven't read this paper yet, so I was hoping that WebGL would be safe from it, because honestly, if WebGL is safe from it, then you're probably fairly safe from this attack. Because in the past, it was a few years ago. And this is only relevant to NVIDIA on Windows. There was a exploit that you could do with a specific version, and it was an exploit that you could do for like 2 years of a driver for NVIDIA. So like for a span of 2 years, it was like this big hole. It was very, very, very hard to implement and actually pull off. But if you did, you got full access to the user's machine.
Wow.
Through the driver, and the reason that because I'm trying to find it. If I find the paper on it, I will obviously send it to you so you can put it in the show notes to add with this one.
Yeah.
But essentially, NVIDIA patched it out later, and the fix for it was switching from Visual Studio 2010 as that version of compiler to a newer version of the compiler. Just fixed it. It was a bug with the Visual Studio C++ compiler that was causing it.
Wow.
And it was an old one, and obviously this was years ago, so it's not relevant anymore, and it was only for then. And but they showed it to NVIDIA, and NVIDIA didn't care because, and in a way they kind of had a point. Like the attack, while technically possible, required a lot of steps to the point where there's no way to do it from an automatic standpoint.
Right.
But the fact that it existed is a problem, but it was because of the compiler, so fantastic. And also, too, it seems CUDA seems to be another big problem, which is causing it, which kind of sucks. Because, you install the NVIDIA driver, they also install CUDA, so yay!
Right. So CUDA is capable of attacking or spying on a CUDA workload. Typically, this would happen in the cloud. So you'd be able to access applications that are doing, computations through CUDA architecture.
Right. So imagine an Amazon compute instance, for example.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, they didn't try it on AMD. So it's entirely possible that something like this or similar affects AMD. And I really, really, I don't like that this exists. I don't know how they're going to fix it either.
Yeah. It's just, every day, something new like this comes out, and it just kind of makes me feel sick in my stomach. It's like nothing is secure, nothing is trusted. There's always a more clever person with a more interesting attack, and it's scary, man. It scares me.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this the Spectre of the GPU? Let us know what you think over on the show notes in the forums, forum.heavyelement.io. All right, so we didn't get any questions for today, probably because it's just about Thanksgiving when we're recording this. So this is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. If you want to give us questions for next time, you can head over to forum.heavyelement.io and make us feel a little less lonely.
Yeah, I know. I love show notes. They're like my favorite part.
The listener question?
Yeah, I love that. I don't know why I said show notes. I'm sorry. I meant user questions. I meant user questions. I don't like, no, the show notes are not my favorite part.
Listener questions?
Oh my god, no. Brain, work. See, this is what happens. You don't give me any listener questions and I just break down. The brain just can't process anything. It just gives up. It quits. Please give us questions next time.
Give us questions.
Exactly. That's what we need. We need more questions.
We need more questions. What is life, the universe, and everything? All right. I think that's going to do it for today's show. We wanted to thank you guys for making Off Topical what it is. It's awesome to have you guys here with us every week. We love to hear what you have to say. We love to check out your questions and talk about them. And if you haven't already, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can head over to offtopical.net and subscribe to the audio feed. Offtopical.net, by the way, is now fully SSL encrypted. You're welcome for that. I just got around to it. It's actually it's really cool. So yeah, head over to offtopical.net and hit us up there. You can subscribe on any podcasting service or app that your heart desires. You can always catch the latest episode over there, or you can check out my YouTube channel if you're listening in the audio feed, youtube.com/FornixGamer. But this has been the Off Topical Podcast, and let's do this again soon.